What's up, lemon heads? Welcome back to another episode of From the Yellow Chair. I'm Emily, and this week I'm riding solo here in the lemonade stand. Crystal is out traveling, doing some things, so thought I would jump on here and talk a little bit about personal branding. You guys hear me talk a lot about branding from the business side of things and how a company should be branded and how to execute that into like truck wraps and things like that, but there's also a big play to be made on personal branding and how that can help your business grow to attract new customers, but even new employees. So today we're going to dive in about how to attract those customers that you want to attract and who you want to attract, and that's all by developing your personal brand. So let's sip some lemonade. All right, so let's talk about personal branding. What is personal branding? Personal branding is the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception of an individual, okay? It's the same type concept of branding as a company. It's all about the influence and the perception that someone has, okay? You hear me talk about it all the time for businesses, but on a personal level, personal branding is all about being conscious, and despite what might be actually true, it's all about the perception of that individual. So by developing your personal brand, you build authority, you elevate your credibility, and it differentiates you from competition. So I want to give you guys a little example. Think of John Krasinski, okay? I think that's more right. I don't exactly know how to say it, but you know who I'm talking about, okay? He's Jim from The Office, okay? I've never met John. I've never hung out with him in person or had dinner with him. But my perception of him is that he's a really nice guy. Like, I bet he's a little bit of a goofball. Probably is cracking some jokes. I don't anticipate him like being mean to anybody. Like when I see him on like the Tonight Show or things like that, like he looks like a very relatable guy, kind of down to earth. I don't imagine him being like arrogant or like, I'm so big and bad and like this is me. And like, you know him from Jim from The Office, and this Jim character, I think that's probably how more John Krasinski actually is, okay? But that's why I have a really hard time watching John Krasinski in Jack Ryan, okay? Like, it is very hard for me to believe that he is a beat 'em up, shoot 'em up, awesome war dog, I'm the chosen one to go in and shoot him up. Like, I just have a hard time believing that. Like, it doesn't feel authentic. He feels like the nice, sweet guy that I'm going to call like Jim, and he's going to go love on Pam and their kids, like not shooting them up in a foreign war. Okay. That's all my perception. I don't know that. I don't know John. I don't have any relationship. He might actually be that, and he might be the meanest man on the face of the earth. I don't know that. But my perception of him is, and that's why I have a hard time believing him in Jack Ryan. It's not that he's a terrible actor or anything like that. It's my perception. So how do you develop a brand that is accurate to what you actually are? How do you develop what you want to be known for? And how do you kind of change that public perception of an individual? Okay. The first thing you have to do is you have to identify your goals. Okay. So you hear us talk about it all the time is you have to make a plan. Making a plan in your marketing, making a plan in your social media, making a plan, a business plan in your operations, in your finances, things like that. It all starts with a plan, okay? You need to make a plan to identify your goals. What do you want to be known for? What do you want the public's perception of you to be? Do you want to be known for your community support? Like, we are known for giving generous sponsorships, or we are known in the community, like, if someone needs a Little League baseball sponsorship or the Little League team is going to the state tournament, like, people know they can count on our company. Or people know when nonprofits are looking for board members to serve or volunteers to be at their fundraiser or their race, whatever they're doing. Like, my company is known for, hey, we will show up with our manpower. We will show up and be constantly serving. Maybe we're known for being very giving and like volunteering our resources, our trucks, our manpower, things like that. What do we want to be known for? Is it community support? Maybe it's being known for a particular cause. Like maybe I want to be known for the Alzheimer's Association and how that's very important to my company and my family, and because of my grandmother's illness, possibly. Maybe you want to be known for supporting veterans. Maybe that's by a veterans discount that you give, or maybe that's by your Friday social media veterans spotlights, or maybe that's by your organizations that you support, the Wounded Warrior Foundation or things like that. Maybe it's a cancer cause that you're supportive. Again, this can all be completely up to you. Maybe you want to be known for your expertise. Like, you want to be known for the person that can fix all the unique and the hard and the complicated problems, maybe that like no one else could fix. You're known for the weird things, or fixing the weird things. Maybe you're known for being super quick or super efficient or whatever that is. Maybe you want to be known that you do all the commercial work. Like if you have a commercial building, like we are your go-to guy. Or maybe you want to only be known as residential. So you're going to be doing things that are relating to homeowner lives. And there's totally different ways of how you can mark this. Or you want to be known as a rapidly growing company. Or maybe you want to be known as more of a humble mom and pop, small type operation. Whatever it is, there's no right or wrong answer. There's always a lot to consider and identify when you're outlining your goals, but that's the beauty of setting goals. There's no right or wrong answer. It is truly defined by you. Goals are what you want to do and not necessarily what you are currently doing, okay? I know that can be a hang up for a lot of people. You're like, well, I'm known for this or whatever, or people have known me for this. You can change that, but you have to be very intentional about changing that, okay? You have to not just let it be, because letting it be lets people to create their own perception and their own information and knowledge around you. You have to define that, and you have to tell that story. So the second thing you have to do after you've identified your goals and made a plan is you have to identify your value, okay? What attributes do you have that's going to help whatever those goals you're setting? What attributes do you have that's going to find value in those? So why are you the authority? So if you want to be the authority and known for your expertise, why are you the authority? Why are you the expert? Why do you charge what you charge? And that can go on the good and the bad. Sometimes people are embarrassed because maybe they charge too much or they charge too little, whatever that might be. Listen, there is a demographic for that, okay? There are people want to work with like-minded and relatable people and businesses, okay? They need their contractor to have the qualities that match their expectations, okay? So that includes accountability, reliability, expertise, timeliness, their expectations of how the whole transaction is going to go. Whatever that might be, if you are the small mom and pop who's still doing paper invoices and things like that, first off, that's not going to be my recommendation, but there is a clientele that is attractive to. And if that's your jam and that's what you want to do it, okay? If you want to never print off a piece of paper in your entire office for the next 10 years, we do everything digitally and we want everyone to book online and this is so efficient and things like that, there is also a customer and a demographic for that too, okay? Whatever it is, you just have to find that and be very intentional about developing and telling that that's what you are, because there is a clientele for that. So you just have to speak the right language and find the right things to speak to those people, okay? And the last thing is you need to know and understand your ideal client, okay? So if you only want to work in homes that are in the, this is different for every area, but $250,000 house, $500,000 house, maybe $1 million house, whatever that is. If you want to only work with like that type of clientele, then like how you market and how you tell your things is going to be different than how you would do it for a lower clientele. Okay. That does not mean that you're going to skimp on certain things. Okay. You're not going to go with a cheaper route on your vehicle wrap. You're not going to go with a cheaper route on your business cards. You're not going to print them yourself. You're not going to try to save $50 and print your brochures yourself and have Susie over there in the office to try to do the trifold brochure. Okay. If you're trying to appeal to a higher demographic, don't be cutting corners in other things. Okay. Maybe you want to, the response time is super important to your people. And so that demographic is going to like want a text message like almost immediately or want a follow-up quote email, things like that immediately. Some other people, they might be fine with a slower return time. But you have to understand what your ideal client is, okay? If mama is your clientele, and that's great. There is a market for mama, okay? She does have probably a lot more dispendable income than some other younger people. But mama doesn't want an email. She doesn't want to have to approve her quote via email. She doesn't want to have to schedule via text message, things like that, okay? So it's just understanding your ideal client and then telling people that you offer whatever makes you different or unique. The way you do things and present yourself, you have to highlight that in a way that's important to them, in a way that's important to your clientele. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And so while you can have these goals and you can have these intentions, again, you have to tell people about it, okay? What did I say at the very beginning? Personal branding is the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence a public perception of an individual or of a company, okay? You have to be very intentional in telling your story. Tell what is important to you. Tell what your company values are. Tell what your priorities are. Tell who your ideal clientele is, okay? Guess what? Birds of a feather flock together. So if you service a client and they probably hang out with a similar crowd of birds, okay? They're going to be the one that's going to talk about it and think, hey, I really had this great experience with this because of this, this, and this, and I really think you guys would too. That's how you create this conscious and intentional effort. You have to tell about that experience, okay? So hopefully this is kind of giving you a direction on how you need to help tell people. I think the best way to do that is, well, I should say one of the easiest ways is via social media, okay? You can love to hate it, but like it or not, social media isn't going away anytime soon. Social media is very low cost. It just requires a little bit of intentionality and making a plan to be consistent in your posting. But you can tell about yourself, to do it behind the scenes. You can share your own personal insights. You can give encouragement. You can do your reviews and testimonies. You can highlight your products or your services. You can do fun things about your community support. You can do National Day of. It doesn't all have to be like so salesy or like, here's why I am the best, but you can also put fun and engaging things behind it. Put a fun little spin on it, okay? Being intentional and being consistent in a social media plan is one of the easiest ways to actually tell people. And just like how I said, birds of a feather flock together as it relates to customers, guess what? It also relates to like employees. So, we don't talk to a contractor that doesn't say, man, I'm having a hiring problem, okay? I just can't find good people to come help me. They get in here, they quit, or everyone's afraid of hard work, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? When you can develop your personal brand and you can attract like-minded people who have similar work ethic, similar work values, similar as you, when you're developing your own personal brand, you will attract people to your business. And then guess what? As they develop their own personal brand and as they are communicating and talking about what their company values are, things like that, and if they find value in their own branding in the company, they will also then attract their circle of influence and their friends, okay? It's all about being intentional, molding these circles and expanding these circles and helping them come together. So when you can be authentic, be relatable, be reliable, be who you are and what you want to be, not maybe what you currently are, but what you want to be, developing that out, it will help you attract clientele and even future employees. What time am I at? 15 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, 14.
I think I want to wrap this up. I know personal branding can seem awkward. It seems weird to talk about yourself, but in reality, it does help you as an individual. It does help you in your own personal goals and professional goals. But then it can also help you because I know a lot of these people listening here, these lemon heads, they are business owners. They are contractors or entrepreneurs in this small business, things like that. By developing your personal brand, you become relatable, and it helps your company become relatable. It helps your company's branding when they can see that this is real, authentic people. So I just encourage you guys, don't be ashamed to talk about it. Don't be embarrassed to talk about it, but elevate yourself, and it'll also help elevate your company, your employees, your coworkers, all those around you. And I hope this little sip of lemonade was maybe just what you needed to get started in being intentional to tell your own personal story. So, thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye.